Senator Cwodzinski, I want to go to you with a question from a viewer from Lewiston who's concerned about nursing home issues and adequacy of coverage. And this viewer is also concerned about a surcharge and wonders if some of the surplus can't be used for nursing home issues. So let's discuss, this is a broader topic than just nursing homes, but let's start there. Tell our viewer what you can about this topic.
Yeah, well, I think I'm speaking for all four of us when I say that compared with 4 years ago, I didn't hear about shortages in nursing homes or retirement homes or homes for people that can't maybe necessarily live on their own, and now all of a sudden, just in the last couple of years, we're hearing about shortages of staff, shortages of beds, shortages of facilities. And I just think as the baby boomers age, if we have a shortage now of these facilities and the people willing to work in these facilities, we're in for a pretty dire situation coming up. So we got to start making some pretty major investments and getting kids in high school to want to pursue a career in healthcare industry, make it be a livable wage instead of 12, 14, 16 bucks an hour, and do the right thing. I think I heard, God, was it a shortage of 20,000 workers or a shortage of 20 beds? I can't remember, but I heard that figure today from a constituent. It's a dire situation and it's unsustainable, and we better get our heads together and solve this problem because it's only going to get worse in the coming.
Representative Lucero, your thoughts on this issue?
So I do not serve on and never have served on any of the committees that would have this jurisdiction or purview. So I am definitely not a go-to person with details on this. But a related issue that does greatly impact our seniors is Social Security. And so one of the topics that I have received a number of feedback on is the tax on Social Security. I think Minnesota is only, I think it's less than 11. We were one of 11 states just a few years ago that still tax Social Security. And I think it might be less than that now. I think it might be down to 4 or 5, something like that. But there is a great amount of stress, especially what we're seeing here with the inflation across the economy. People on fixed incomes, whether they live in nursing homes, senior living care, or if they live in their home, the stress of the radical, dramatic increases in cost, but yet fixed incomes with tax policy the way it is, and many of the other demands, is something that we definitely need to pass this year. Not reducing, but eliminating the tax on Social Security.
Representative Hausman, nursing homes and also the Social Security tax, if you want to address that. That is a question from a viewer in Milan as well. So to the extent the panel wants to address it in the likelihood of that passing, now is a good time to do that as well. But I'm interested in your response on the nursing home issue and staffing concerns and reimbursement issues there. So
I think that is a vital concern that we really just absolutely have to take a look at. I mean, the workforce generally in a broad range of areas is affected, but when it has to do with caring for vulnerable people, for vulnerable populations, we feel it so much more. And so I think there's a strong feeling that somehow we need to figure out how to address it this legislative session.
Senator Dahms.
Well, I think that Senator Cwodzinski brought up a very good point about the shortage of folks. Unfortunately, what really hurts that process is that no matter what industry we look at, we have a large shortage of people available to take the jobs, which really multiplies and puts the pressure on our nursing homes and things like that. We do have a bill that we'll be passing out of the Health and Human Services, which will help do some things to help recruit more people in the industries of the nursing homes, assisted living, that type of thing, the home for the disabled, and like I say, the assisted living. There's going to be, we do have a bill that will be coming out that'll help with that, trying to get more people into training, try to get some wages raised try to help with keeping people with some longevity. But we also have to make sure in the process of doing that we have a way of keeping that pipeline open and make these competitive jobs so we're not losing them to some of the other areas to where there's a lot less stress. If you're going to go work at a nursing home, you really have to be dedicated to do that, because you're not doing it because of the salary. You're doing it because of the want to help people. And so when we have people that want to help these people, we need to make sure that we come up with a way of paying them to reward them for doing that. And I think that'll help some. To the Social Security part of it, that we did pass the first piece of our tax bill off the House Senate floor. That's sitting there at this point to be matched up with another piece. And in there, we did include the elimination of the income tax on Social Security. We currently have, last couple of years, we've taken some of the income tax off of some of the lower brackets on the Social Security, but this would remove the income tax on Social Security across the board.
You'll need to have Paul Marquardt on next week to talk about the tax issues. They're pretty complicated this year.
They are indeed. Senator Cwodzinski, do you want to address the issue of the Social Security taxes, or should we just move on?
Yeah, sure. It is probably, I agree with my colleagues. It's probably the one thing I've gotten the most emails and texts and voicemails this year, the number one issue. I don't know, that the Social Security tax is only on the top 40% of wage earners. So if you are in the lower 60% tax rate, you're collecting Social Security, you're not paying any tax on your Social Security. So that's a variable for me. I think the figure is $300 million is what the state takes in because of the Social Security tax. That's a lot of money, Ed. So people collecting Social Security are still helping out our schools and our roads and all the other people that rely on taxes. So anyways, I'm on the fence on it, though. If it was a standalone bill and it came to me in the Senate, I don't know. I'd have to give it some serious thought.